mirror. It's a strange thing. You look into it and you see yourself. Or you think you do. What you really see is a reflection. Flipped, slightly wrong, but close enough to feel true, but not true enough to actually be true. Now, take a second mirror and hold it up. Something even stranger happens. Neither one reflects anything real anymore. They just reflect each other over and over again until there's nothing left but the echo of an image. Now, I think comparison does that exact same thing to identity. We stop seeing ourselves and we start seeing a reflection of someone else. And I didn't always know that. The first time that I felt like I was being compared was when I was younger. And I don't say this to blame anyone. But when I was younger, my parents used to make us play games at the dining table. Fun math questions, geography questions, just something to spark a little competition between us. And I remember the first time when he answered before me. When he answered correctly and I couldn't, I felt small, embarrassed, like somehow I had lost value over a 10-second question about the capital of Sri Lanka. And standing there, I realized what it felt like to be scored. So something changed. I stopped asking, what do I want? And I started asking, how can I win? I chose things not because I love them, but because he did them too, and I had to be better at it than he was. I played tennis for 5 years. I did swimming for 6 just because he did that. I avoided things I was genuinely curious about, as if there wasn't enough room for both of us to like the same things. And standing there, I realized that I had internalized the scoreboard so completely that I didn't need anyone else to keep score. I was the referee, the commentator, the player, the other player, and somehow, I was always the one losing. So let me tell you a story. One day, me and my brother, we had a math exam, and we got our results back on the same day. But before I checked my grade, I checked his. Not because I cared about what he got, but because I cared about where I stood. I was only happy when I did better. I wasn't happy when I did good. And that scared me, because I had internalized the scoreboard so completely that I was doing it to myself. So now let me ask you that same question. Think about a time. Think about the person that you compare yourself to the most. It might be a sibling who got better grades, a friend who got the internship you wanted, a colleague who got the project before you did. A version of yourself that you quietly abandoned because next to someone else, it didn't seem impressive enough. Do they know that you've been racing them? Now, in our brain, deep inside, there's a structure called the amygdala, in yellow. And its job is to detect danger. And thousands of years ago, that danger used to mean snakes, bears, lions, things that could actually kill you. So your body prepares to survive. And when it realizes the danger, it sends a signal. And this signal releases hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. Your body changes, your heart starts racing, your breathing increases. Your body prepares to survive. And here's the thing. Our brain can't tell the difference between a social comparison and physical danger. It can't tell the difference between falling off a cliff and not getting enough likes on Instagram or TikTok. Now think about this. Every single day, 24/7, 365 days a year, you do this to yourself. You compare yourself to someone else, and this is what happens to your body. You are changed as a person. Your heart, the way you live your life, the people around you, that all changes as well. Friends, teachers, classmates, they all compare us. They compare me, they compare you. And they do something. They say, oh, look, Deeta already finished that. Oh, he's already there. Why aren't you there? Half a sentence, never finished. But I finish it for them every single time. Because I don't blame them. They do what every single one of us does without realizing, using someone else as a reference to make a point. It feels harmless when you're the one saying it, but it feels different when you're the one hearing it. So here's the thing. There are two sides to comparison. The people that get measured and the people holding the measuring tape. Albert Einstein once said, "If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life believing that it's stupid." Now, of course, you must be thinking, why would you compare a fish by its ability to climb a tree? It's a marine animal. Exactly. We do that exact same thing to people. We define success in such a narrow way and then measure everyone against it. We do this to people. Now, so one day, I stopped. And I just watched. I watched my brother. With his friends, he's completely himself. Not changing, not performing, not running from anything, not running toward anything. Well, except maybe a girl. But that's a different thing entirely. He never had been racing me. I had built the entire competition, and I was the only one running. So I asked myself, why? Why was I doing this? Why did I compare myself against him? Why do I compare myself against my friends? Let me ask you that question. Why do you do this? Why do you compare yourself against someone so harshly? Who asked you to do that? Think about this. Because the answer, it's nobody. And the answer is also you. You did this to yourself. Seeing someone in a different way can affect the way that we live our life. But this changed my attitude. Seeing myself do things I never did before because I realized I was never a competition. It was all in my head. I started playing sports. I started painting. I started dancing. I started doing things that I really enjoyed because I realized that it was never a competition. Something shifted in me. I recognized that sometimes comparison can help us grow. Seeing someone succeed can motivate us. It did for me. Having a twin, having a brother meant I always had someone who understood me, who supported me, who challenged me to do better. There were times I didn't want to get up. I'd just lay in bed, lazing around. But I'd just see him, by himself, doing things, working normally. And something in me would think, if he can, I can. So what's the difference? What separates the comparison that tears you apart from the one that builds you? I think it comes down to direction. Seeing someone, I think it comes down to direction. When I look at my brother now, I think, what can I learn from him? I'm using him as a light, not a mirror. The question that helps you asks, what can I learn from this person? And the one that tears you apart asks, why am I not already this person? One opens a door, and the other one locks you in a room and throws away the key. So you can stand next to someone without standing against them. You can admire someone without measuring yourself against them. They say that life is a race, and if you don't run fast enough, someone will crush you. But here's what they don't tell you, and here's what I want you to remember. It's that yes, life is a race. Not a race against someone, not a race against the clock or the neighbor or the version of yourself that got into Harvard, that got the 45 out of 45, and that seemed to have it all figured out by the age of 25. It's a race where the track curves back into itself, and the only person watching is you. Now, we were taught to measure ourselves in relation to salaries, marks, into who got there first. So we spend our entire lives looking sideways and running straight into walls. Because the truth is, comparison is a thief. It says, look how far they've come. What it really means is, look how far you haven't. And it steals the only thing that was ever yours to begin with. Your own story. So yes, life is a race. Run it. Run it slowly if you must. Run it with rests and stops and wrong turns and shoes that don't quite fit. But run in your lane and make the lane yours. Because the person next to you, they're not your competition. They're just someone else who's also told it was a race and forgot to ask what they were running toward.